So today's video is gonna be a little bit different. I tweeted something about telling you guys about my experience with modeling. I've like hinted here and there about not having the best time. I kind of have talked about my eating disorder and things like that, but I haven't really like directly talked about my experience modeling. I did a video with Brandon about you know, my eating disorder and my body dysmorphia and stuff like that, and I sort of talked about modeling there and how modeling was kind of one of the biggest reasons that my eating disorder flourished.
No, but really, like, what was it like, actually?
You know, gave me body dysmorphia.
Did it really?
Oh yeah, big time.
Okay.
I mean, like, you know, I kind of probably had it before, and I kind of sort of had an eating disorder before, but
It
no, it definitely,
exacerbated
yeah, definitely made it way more intense.
Yeah.
I did a photo shoot with one of my friends, and then I emailed the photos to an agency, and they were like, hey, we're very interested in you. You should come meet us. And it was like a 10-hour drive or something like that. We went down to meet the agent. I'm gonna try not to use like you know, specific places, and I'm not going to use the names of the agencies, obviously, because I don't want to get sued. Yeah, it was a very big agency. It was a huge deal to me. I was either 15 or 16, I really don't remember. And I just remember we drove down, we stayed in the hotel. The next day I went and met with the agency. I'm 5'9.5", and I believe, I'll try and find the email to see if you can see like how tiny I was. But I believe my measurements were 32, 24, 35. And I met with them, and they told me that they really liked me. They liked my look. So yeah, the agent told me that my hips were too big. So then I'm on Instagram, and a photographer messages me, and he's like, hey, you should come to this place, and I'll do a shoot with you, and I'll introduce you to this agency, and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, your photos are great. Let's do it. So I go drive 5 hours up to this place. Well, my mom does, because I don't know how to drive, and I still can't drive. And do the shoot. I'll leave that for another story time, because it was probably one of the weirdest experiences of my life. But I go and I do the shoot, and then he introduces me to this agent. I end up signing with them, and they end up signing me with a bigger agency. And like the agency that they signed me with, I was just like, it was the original agency that I had met in the first place, and they signed me like around the world. And I was just like, I was excited. I was really happy. And I was really skinny. I was so skinny at that time. There was even like a time period when, well, I mean, all of my agents were like, hey, like, I want to send you to Mexico, like, lose some weight, and then we'll, you know, we'll get you like Vogue editorials and like blah, blah, blah. And just like the promise, like, hanging over your head that you would like get all these cool opportunities, because like, if you lose inches, and that's another thing that I feel like is used a lot, instead of saying like, you know, lose weight, lose this, lose that, like they would tell you to lose inches, so they're not like directly telling you to lose weight. They took my measurements, and they were like, wow, this is like, you're like really tiny right now, like very small. And I think my measurements were, I'm 5'9". I weighed like 197 to 100 pounds. I'm 5'9.5", 97 to 100 pounds. I was like 32, 22, 21 and a half. And then my butt was 32 inches. And they were like, this is like, you're really tiny, but like maybe even too tiny, maybe like gain a little bit of weight. And that was like, I was like, but you told me to lose all of this weight. I think I was looking for like them to make me like approve of what I did. Like, you know, mentally I was like, I wanted their approval, because I was like, all this time you're like telling me I'm too big, and like now I'm finally skinny, and like what, like why? I was talking to a guy that lived in LA I was getting hit up by photographers in LA. I had a bunch of internet friends that lived out here, and I was just like, look, agent's name, I really want to come out to LA. Like, could you guys help me out, set something up for me, blah, blah, blah. They did. They agreed. They wanted me to go to Mexico, and I was like, I don't want to go to Mexico. Like, I don't know anyone there. I wouldn't feel comfortable. I haven't really traveled before. I'm baby. So they send me to LA after a lot of me being like, please, can I go to LA? Like, I'll find someone to stay with, blah, blah, blah. I stayed with someone who at the time was my friend. I was going to castings. I did like a few shoots. I tried to stop listening to my agents so much with the weight thing, because they were always on me about, working out and eating or not eating. And I think there's like subtle little ways that they would like tell me like to not eat. They would talk about portion control all the time. They would tell me they would get me a personal trainer that could teach me about nutrition, that I should be working out at least like once a day, sometimes maybe even twice if I feel like it. Basically, they were trying to make my entire life just like exercise, and like just my brain was like consumed with the thoughts of like how much food I was eating. They told me to download an app to track my calories. I at one point had to move into the model apartments, and then I ended up moving out of the model apartments because it was just like becoming too much and I couldn't live there anymore. And there was a lot of times where I like cried myself to sleep because of the way that I was being treated. It was just it was a very hard time for me. It was a very dark place for me. I was still going to castings and stuff, and I also, weird thing that happened, one of their drivers, I just remembered this, one of the drivers for the agency I was 18, tried to come over at like midnight and bring me and the other roommate alcohol and like get us drunk, and for God knows what, like creepy man, probably like in his mid-30s. And I screenshotted them all of the texts and sent them to the agency and told my agent that I was uncomfortable, and he made me uncomfortable the next time he gave me a ride somewhere, and that I wasn't comfortable riding with him anymore and I didn't want to do it. And their response was something like, these are very serious allegations. His wife works for this agency and he's a good man, blah, blah, blah. So basically, I told them that their driver was being creepy, and they pushed it aside and like completely ignored that it happened. He also took me to lunch one time and was being like openly flirty and like sexual towards me. So that was fun. Yeah, but so I started gaining a little bit of weight. Went from like 100 pounds to like 125, 130. I was in the phase of binge eating, I think. So I went back in for digitals a little while later. My agent saw the photos, and keep in mind, I mean, you can disagree with me. I'll put the photo up here, like of what I basically looked like. I still think I was pretty skinny. Like, I still think that that's way more than acceptable for a model. I think that what I was before was so skinny and kind of terrifying, and like this is way more realistic body than this. Like, that's just my opinion though. I mean, whatever. I called my mom and I was talking to her about it, and she was like, one of your agents messaged me on Facebook. This agent was constantly saying I look strung out, and I'm like, it's because I am dying. I am not eating, and I am so skinny that I am going to fall over and die. Like, that's what's wrong. I'm not doing heroin. And then, I shaved my head, and oh my God, in their eyes, what was that more than a cry for attention? Yeah, I got this email that said that my YouTube videos make me look incoherent and self-important and all this other stuff. And what else? My shaved head is a cry out for attention. Agencies drop models that are not in shape. Something that's really weird to me that they accuse me of a lot of is like going out and partying. And I had only gone out one time, I think, when I lived in model apartments, and after I moved out of model apartments and I was still going to castings. I think I maybe only went out like once a week. But yeah, I just wanted to put that in there because I thought it was a stupid thing. I think that with a lot of, when I get really depressed, I
don't really sleep very much. That was a part of it, and I tried to explain that to them, but obviously they didn't believe it. Yeah, just wanted to put that out there. I'm not some crazed party animal. I probably was doing what I'm doing right now, which is just staying up until 4 a.m. and doing nonsense, so, yep.
You know, I'll post some of these emails that they sent me right here. This modeling thing, what's going on with that? All I'm really gonna say about modeling, because I know that's what everyone is wanting, is that I'm not doing it right now. I'm not technically unsigned. I'm just not, I asked for a break because I want a break, because I really want to enjoy how I look right now, because I enjoy how I look right now. And I just want to, like, for the first time in my life, I don't have my family and stuff asking me if I'm eating or if I'm, like, you know, being healthy, and like I can actually make a double chin without forcing it now. I actually enjoy the little bit of like weight that I put on, and I think I look really good, and I look a lot like happier all the time, and I'm laughing more, and it's just an enjoyable time for me to experience actually having a little weight on my body, because I've never had that before. I actually have a butt now. I've never had a butt before. My butt, you know, fills out a pair of jeans for once. So yeah, I probably missed saying a lot of things in this, and if I did, I'll like throw it back in whenever I'm editing. This was kind of hard to talk about, weirdly enough. I thought it would be a little bit easier, but you know, my memory of this is very like, I wish I remembered more that happened. I think that it's just been so long, and I've tried to push it down for so long because I've been kind of scared of, you know, people's response to this. But yeah, I hope that in some way this helps someone or makes them feel less alone if you're in the same situation. I'll see you back next week with a video that's not so shitty and depressing. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, subscribe. I don't normally make videos that are like this, but I thought that this was something that was important and that needed to be talked about. And I'm, like I always do, I'll leave resources down below, as well as a lot of you know that you can always talk to me on Twitter, and I try my best to respond. I love you. Bye.